Hello, station engineers. It's River here, and I would like to do a new series on the channel about a game I've been fairly addicted to called Stationeers. I played it a while ago. Can't say a huge amount has changed, but it has become better. They're certainly fixing bugs and making improvements. Now, some of the things they're probably improving are beyond my skill level, but I am skilled at being a noob. So I thought I would show you guys how to get from being a noob to about the point that you've got a pretty self-sustained base where you can do anything from there. So one of the things I'd like to point out, if you are very new, I would recommend that you come in here and consider turning down the hunger rate to something less. It starts at 1. I'm going to put it down at 0.2. That means we'll use food 1/5 as fast. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, by the way, the other one to look at, just in case it's bothering you, is you do have the HUD scale, which I always like in a game that you can adjust that. I play on a fairly wide monitor and format, not always a good size. In any event, the HUD scale doesn't matter too much in this game because you're not clicking on things, but you may not want it as big. I'm going to keep it default size because I think most people will stand a chance to see it in the videos. I wanted to point out that I do have one mod that we're going to use, and it's as much for the sake of video recording. I spend a fair amount of time when I make these videos with behind the scenes stuff, and I want to cut down on that, but feel free to use it. There's two other, so this is very easy ores, and it just basically does that. It doesn't quite look as much like this picture here if you can see it, but it's quite a few extra ores, and every time you mine one you get 50. So apparently, for a little while, I was playing with this 50G. So this would leave ores the way they are, but each time you mine one, you get 50 grams, which doesn't make a lot of sense. That's not much iron, but 50 G's worth of iron. And also this uncommon ores. But then I found out that these two aren't very compatible with each other. So what I ended up doing was doing this very easy ores, which is, this guy even mentions that those aren't compatible with each other. So he made this one, which kind of combines them both. So anyway, thank you, Bishop Crane, for that. Well, there you go. So what I'm going to do, did I lock up? Or, there we go. I'm going to come in and create a new world, Moon, and going to do that repeatedly until I get one that's fairly flat and looks like it's a decent place for us to start. You'll see what I mean if you've never played the game. Sometimes you end up in a crater with half your stuff down in the hole. And anyway, so I will see you when I get into the game.
Light off.
All right, guys, we are in the game. Let me get this road flare from rolling away. So, what we need to do, besides worry about road flares, is find our construction supplies 1. This is the most important box we have to get started anyway. And I'm going to open up our inventory, and what I would like to do is switch some things out. In the series, I'm going to assume that you guys don't know much of anything about the game, so I'm sorry if it's, if my explanations are oversimplistic. If you hit the Q button, you can drop things out of your hand, and if you hit and hold Q, you can throw them. I don't want to, and you can throw them a mighty long distance. So be careful if you go to throw something. You can throw it awful hard. But what we want to do is come in here and take some things out. I'm going to turn on my light so you guys can see. Otherwise, you might want to leave your light off if you can get by without it. So what I'll do is switch my hand using the E, and it's a little bit not self-evident, but see the E and the R. If you want to split an item, you can do that. So if we just want to swap this tape, which we don't need the tape right now, then I'm going to hit F, and that's going to switch it with those flares that are in my backpack over there. We also, eventually, pretty shortly, we're going to hook up the auto lathe. And we don't need these cartridges here, so we're going to switch with these cartridges. Definitely want some iron frames, so I'm going to switch with that. And just get rid of each of these cartridges. Definitely want some iron sheets. And we're going to switch with that. And we're going to need the plastic sheets, not the highest priority, but we need those to put together the machines. And we're going to get the solar panel. because that's half the point of this episode. Now this thing pops up in your face, but you can still tell that you're over a new thing like glass sheet. So I want to swap. This is our tablet, which is great for using the tracker, and you can also use atmospheric and check electronics with it. And that's what these cartridges are for, but we're not going to get into that now. It's not that it's so advanced, but we just don't need to. Now I'm going to switch out this controller for that, and we'll put that in our last spot. The final spot over here, right here, this propellant, that is our jet fuel. So that's what, when we turn on our jetpack, we use up some of that. Now you can use any fuel in it, but we don't have much, so we're going to try to conserve our jet fuel. Now what we need to do is, I want to get started. We want to find a place that is fairly well open. A lot of times I like to go to the top. You don't want to be right near a big, huge sinkhole, which I already checked out this start. I saved it real quick, and, I'm not sure where we would want to build. That's, this map with the mod adding all those things is, this is a pretty open area right here, isn't it? So what we're going to want to do, do we want to build over towards that way? Now that way's north. Not that it does matter. This is kind of getting far away from our supplies. Not that that matters too much, but what we want to end up doing is building a 3x3 area, and I think we'll do that here. So we want to use these iron frames, and you right-click, and you can see we're kind of at a bad height there. We don't want to have to jump up onto this thing. So what I will do, and by the way, we're going to build our solar panels to the south. So because we're going to do that, I want to find a place that I can walk right on, like that would be a little bit of a lip right there, and you actually kind of get stuck on that. So we'll just start right here. And unfortunately, we're getting into the side of a hill a little bit, but that's okay too. You'll see what I mean in a minute. We can take that down pretty quickly here. So what we want to do is just build, 3x3. I am going to come over here and switch out to these sheets. I'm going to hit 6 and open up my backpack. And come over to our welder. E and F switches over, and O turns on your welder. We're just going to weld that one time and put those cross braces in there, which act like as a perfectly good floor. Nothing will fall through it. It looks open, but it's actually not. The difference between, if we were to put another layer on there, it would close it up and it would look all sealed up, and that would be airtight. So unlike some other games out there, that's the case. So now we have our 9 square 3x3 area. And like I said, I can tell that, I know from experience that the world is up to the north. And I can also see, you can see the sun is reflected in it. So I know the sun's going to come up pretty soon, because if that's north, that means this is east, and that means this is south. So what I can do is come back up to here, and we'll get some more of these things. Oops. And so what I want to do is go out to this direction in order to build my solar panels. Now all of this has a pretty strategic purpose, and I'll explain it all once I get these set down. So then what I want to do is I'll come around here, and we'll put 3 of these up here. Now what we've done is, if you notice, we've kind of built a floor and a little room. And in that room, we can actually put our arc furnace, and because it's such a small, easy area to do, we'll be able to start collecting some gases from it sooner than we would any other way. So now we got the sun coming up, and we definitely want to take advantage of it. So less talking and more working, right? And let's get back to our welder and get this stuff welded up so that we can go up there and get our solar panel put on. Now you can jump pretty good on the moon. There's not much gravity. I think they've tried to be relatively realistic to physics. Certainly compared to a lot of games out there, they are. Alright, so that one's done. The second row here, we're only going to make one row of solar panels, but let's turn this off for half a second. And I want to go back up to these frames real quick, because I know I'm going to need a frame right here as well. Alright, so let's just weld that guy up. Alright, so now we're kind of done with... Oops. Turn that off, put this guy away. And now we can come up and we'll grab this power thing. And I want to put... Let me turn my light off. Even though it might be tough on you guys, I really want to save power. So there's our power controller, and we can spin this guy around. And we want him facing so that the power comes from up above and goes down. We could put them up higher, but I kind of like this height. We won't turn this one off very much, but sometimes you can use these as like a whole area control switch there. So now that we're done with that, let's take that out and we can start wiring this up. So we'll do the control, we'll do the thing. Now, the page down button rotates things this way. The end button rotates them at an angle that we can't see, and then the page up rolls the other way. So, oops. So what you want to do is rotate these guys until you finally get it. That's the best advice. But there is a system to it. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating in that I know it makes more sense than my brain is capable of always recognizing. You know. So we're going to come up here because no matter what happens down below, there's no way we can't have this set up when we're done. Not set up. You know, we have to get this solar panel connected. In addition, oops, geez, I'm kind of doing this first because that'll give us the opportunity to get a battery charging. We haven't used up too much power, but we did use a little, and hey, we might as well. Power is our biggest initial enemy. If we run out of juice, we die of cold, and it's horrible, and life ends as we know it. So I'm going to come over here to our solar panel. As you notice, I'm trying to be instructive. Now this solar panel has 2 points to it. One is data. It's probably impossible to see on this video, but you want to make sure, I'll turn the light on so make sure you guys can see this. I have the power going to this line, which is going down to our power controller. This line we're going to use in a little bit. This is going to allow for us to read and send signals from the solar panel. So in this case, we're going to send a signal telling the solar panel which way to go. Now, while we're up here, we got to do one more thing. We need to add 2 more things. We need to add an electrical panel. So now you can see we're actually getting some juice. And if we had a battery in there, it would actually be charging the battery up slightly. Now, what I want to do is come here and get this wrench. Now, I can turn this to the left and right. I am building this very deliberately in a certain way so that I know my circuitry down there will line up. If you decide to be creative, it may not line up for you quite as well. Now, since the sun is kind of straight upwards, I'm just going to tilt this a little bit. Even though we're not getting perfect efficiency now, it'll go up, and in case I forget to come back up here, it will stay charging this thing. So now I want to come here to this tool, which will let me open that up. Put the tool away, and then we need to come over to Construction Supplies 2, and we have a battery in there. Now this battery is fully charged. Oh, geez, super jump. So what I'm going to do is switch this battery out for the one that's in my suit here, which is only high charge. Well, high charge is good, but now, so this battery is charging up, even though this thing isn't on, which should be a good thing. But there's no reason for us not to turn this thing on. So now that it's on, you can see this flashing blue and green means the battery's not fully charged, but it is charging up because it's green. So now what we need to do is I want to set up some more wires. we need to get this auto lathe going and the arc furnace going. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do, oops, is go to a corner piece. I've done this before, so it'll be most likely more experimentation on your part. I can't see what's happening there. There we go. So I want it to look like this. Yeah, see, it's behind that cover, so it was a little hard to see. So now we have this coming out, and what I want it to do is now I want a four-way junction here. And up above, I'm going to put our battery charger. Over here, I'm going to use this line to power up our system of solar tracking. And then down here, I want to put a four-way corner. There we go. And if you can see, well, let me just place it. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Oops. Let's go get our wire cutters. Wire cutters remove the wire. Highly recommend that you guys do the video tutorial if you haven't. And let's see here. So we want to change this. There we go. No, that's not what I want either. Gosh darn it. I don't know if I even want four-way corner, do I? Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I just want to get it rotated. That way. There we go. I don't need any more power over this way at this point. Eventually we'll use it maybe to power up a door, but I'll get it out of the inside of this. You'll see what I mean. All right, so now let's go and place down our arc furnace, which again, we're going to create a little room here for our arc furnace. And it's going in the right direction. I'd like it, it's a little easier to stand by the door and put things in. And anyway, in addition, my power is over here, so we'll use less wire or two. And now what I want to do is over here, I want to put my auto lathe. Now my auto lathe is facing the wrong direction, so I'm going to hit page down, spin it around, and I'm going to just keep it like right here in the middle of this. So what I will do now is we'll run some wires to each of these things. And we certainly don't need that fancy thing anymore. Now, eventually we may change this, but you need to be very sparing. I just probably enough wires to get this done, Now, you know what? I want to do this. Even though it's going to use up an extra 2 wires. I can't see. That's what we want. There we go. Back to the straight. All right, so now up over here, I want to put a 3-way junction like this. Let's switch back and pick these 2 up. And then we want to go back to a corner. Now, one thing to say is page down always changes it from the top. So this way, I know in the very near future, we're going to have more machines going out this way. So that's why I did what I did there. And the other thing I want to do is, let's just switch to the sheets real quick. And I need this wrench. We're going to take this off. And let's put the wrench back away. We won't need that again immediately. So now I'm going to run straight through here. So I had to take that off in order to be able to run through here. And then I can run just straight on into here. And through all of that, we have 3 extra wires. So again, if we had just put these things slightly differently, we wouldn't have it. Now, the wonderful thing is, look, our battery's all charged up. That's great. I can turn on the light with the confidence that whatever we do, if we get some things done during the night here, we're going to have a battery to switch over to. So now it's not totally true that we don't have any batteries. Let's put these wires away. If we come over, I think this is the consumable supplies Can't really see in there too well. And if I come over here and I take this beacon out, I can, let's go put him, oh, I don't know. I don't want him someplace I'm going to knock him over right away, but let's just put him back here. He should be kind of a long way to get here. Huh? He won't roll or anything too much. So we can take that battery out of there, and I'll put it up in my pack because there's another battery floating around here in this portable air conditioner. And there's another one in this air scrubber. Now, in addition to all those batteries, oops, you know what? I didn't actually take this. Oh, yeah, I did. Did I not take this one out? I thought I had 3 batteries. Oh, I do. I'm sorry, I can't count. We don't need organic supplies. So we got 3 batteries there. What we need is construction supplies 2. Has a battery charger kit. And like, oops. So yeah, see, that's a bit of a pain. We'll get spread out there eventually. So what I'll do is I'll put our oh, you know what? We need to, that's plastic sheets. What did I do with my iron sheets? Oh, they're in my hand, duh. Well, I'm having one of those moments, huh? All right, so now we can put this back up, because we shouldn't need to get back in there anytime too soon. And we can always take it back apart. All right, so see how you couldn't place that until you put these up. And we couldn't have placed that power controller unless we had done this too. And then as soon as you place something, just so you know, you can take it back away, so if you really don't want it there. So wonderful. Now we have power that we can run this. The problem that we have, oops, we haven't done this. Let's, oh, I don't think we have enough wires. I think we need 4 wires for this guy. Let's go and... Four cables required. So we're going to have to swap a wire back and forth. Let's go find some copper. Yeah, so let's, we don't need much. You know what, let's take these out of our inventory. So if we only need, and can we put some of this stuff back away? Do we have a little more room now that we've, not really. Yeah, we took that thing out of there. We don't need the plastic sheets. All right, so let's switch to our mining backpack. So when you start out, you get two belts, a mining belt and a tool belt. And the mining belt has this miner in there. Oops, let's put this guy back up there. Take our miner out. I'm also going to take this guy and put him up here. So we need to turn this on like the other things. And off we go. So we don't want to go so far away we can't see our base. Which way feels lucky? This way feels lucky. So we're looking for some copper, a little bit of copper, a little bit of iron, and a little bit of gold. Maybe a little extra iron and a little extra copper if we can find it. Okay, keep an eye, make sure you can see your base clearly. Those flares will help us quite a bit, you know. We're just looking in all the holes and everywhere we can. It's a little harder to do at nighttime, but there's not much we can do until we get some of this. All right, so wonderful. So here's some iron. Let's grab about, how much space do we have? Let's grab about 4 irons. There's 3. Oop, we don't want that. There we go. That's 4 iron. So we don't need any more iron. And what is this? This is silver. Wonderful to have, but not right now. Silver, coal. What's in there? That's a big hole. We don't want to fall down there. If you're pretty quick to turn your jetpack on, that looks like gold right there. It's kind of mixed in with air. Oh, look at that. And copper. So much stuff here, it's covering each other up. There we go. There's 2 coppers. 3 coppers is probably enough, but what's over here? Look at that. Just dig into the ground and shit's everywhere. Oh, that's just uranium. That looks like gold right there. We don't really want to mine that ice. Now we can start picking it up by hand, or else we can come down here and switch some of it. And then it'll just pop over. I'm not sure. Not sure what's the best way. So I don't see any. There's gold. We'll get 1 more gold. And yeah, if we get a little more. How much copper do we have? 2. Be nice to find a little bit more copper. So this is just like all. There, look, there's copper. See, that's silicone, which is nice to have too, but not right this minute. It's just so much stuff here that it's just. There's more copper. Actually, there we go. So we can hold 2 more of somethings. Silicone. Nah, let's take another gold. Oops. Now what'll happen is it'll pop out, but we can do E. Oops, E. Maybe we'll go get another iron. Iron's always in high demand. Uh-oh. Do I know where my base is? There it is. Yeah, don't go out of sight of your base. So what I'll do is switch back to this, and we'll pick something. Maybe we'll see, like, a lot of times holes like this means there's something there to mine. It's just like a graphics issue or something. Yep, see, there you go. See, there was iron there. So the reason I did that is hit F, and then we can actually pick up. So we're kind of maxed out right now. But what we really want to do, and we don't have a huge amount of power, is I'm going to switch. We can drop some stuff as long as we do it in a place that's not going to roll down in a hole. So let's do, oops. Let's just drop that out of our inventory for now. And I'm going to come here and hit R, and then we can come up here. We can either split it in half, which sounds good, but we're just going to split 1 off. Now, 1 literally means 1. I wish it would switch it over to that other hand, but we're going to do 5 for now. That'll give us like 10 copper coils, which will get us past emergency mode here, you know. Until the sun comes up, I really don't want to burn too much of our battery power there, but this should just take a minute to run. Then what we'll have to do is take one of the, once this runs, we'll take up one of these wires. So let's switch back over to this pack. And so we can get our tool out. And as soon as that's done, we'll cut this wire off. Oops, did it jump up in there? That's weird. There we go. So now what we can do is come here and apply those to that. We can take our copper ingot for now. And what we're going to need is the plastic sheets that I put over here. I'll just end up, where did I put those plastic sheets? I think in here, right? Yeah, there we go. So we'll have to, well, eventually we'll run, whoa, that was a good jump, wasn't it? All right, so eventually, here, let's just drop these for a second and get to the welder, turn it on, boom, turn it back off, sorry. There we go. Now we have an auto lathe, and let's put this tool away, and we put this guy in there, and this guy should be turn onable. Yes, and we come down here. And we'll just let him make 10 copper coils. In the meantime, the sun is up. So that means we can get to processing some stuff. And since iron is the quickest, we'll get ready to do some iron as soon as we have a cable. There we go. So now we have iron going. And we'll keep gathering up some cables. But now our cable emergency is over anyway. And we're also smelting up some stuff. Now, in light of that, let's come over here, put this back. I only want to smelt up as much of this gold as we're going to need. So I'm going to hit R and go up to split it. Oops, what did I do? I dropped it instead of splitting it. There we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Let's come back down here, put it here, and then we'll pick these up. Now we could have split it in half or something a couple times, but I think that's about as quick a way as there is. Now that gold won't take too long because it's only a partial stack, but that way we'll have some gold. Right, we are just full of stuff. So I'm going to drop this off and pick these up. And then come down here and put them in that pile. And we're smelting some gold. We're definitely going to want... Did I not start up the iron? Is that what happened there? So let's get this iron back. This guy should be done in a second. Or 10. It's time for a sip of coffee while we wait. Yeah, this does take the longest. So we do want to go up top and make sure we're charging up too. Especially since we're using this a little bit heavy right now. Alright, so we can go ahead and put this gold right in here for now. What do we have in this machine? 10 gold. That's it. So, how are we doing on the solar? No, we're doing the wrong direction, aren't we? So we're discharging. So let's turn the jetpack on. Get our wrench out, even though we probably should have done this first thing in the morning. Tilt downward some. Oh, oh yeah, there we go. So, you know, if you put this on the ground, you can sit there and manually adjust it, but to be honest, you know, it's not that big a deal to come up. We're not going to be doing it for that long. The whole goal here is to get enough stuff that we can build the automatic system. I know it doesn't feel like we're moving towards the automatic system, but that's all we're doing here. All right, well, this guy is now in the way. Where we'll be out of the way for some of this stuff? Probably over this direction, because I don't usually build right there. So what I want to do is lay down some more of these frames so that when we're ready, right over this way, we can oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I missed by one. Oop, that thing got done in there. So let's go get a thing of copper going, because we're definitely going to need more wires. Alright, so now we have iron. Minimal amount of gold. We got a stack of iron. And those are plastic sheets. Annoying plastic sheets coming into my life again. Ah, come on. Oh, might as well get that copper, huh? And let's get our regular sheets and our welder, which looks a lot like the drill. Turn it on. Yeah, I like the way this is working out. Maybe like a little bridge between the low spot. All right, very good. So copper's still burning. This is ready. We do have some wires, so let's go ahead and we can run these wires over there while we're waiting. Now I know in the near future that I'm going to put a stacker on this machine. So I know if I put a junction right there, that would save me a little bit of aggravation in the future. And that's probably enough because I think we're going to put it right there. As a matter of fact, you know what, I have two. Is that where we're going to put it? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. If they're a little spread out, you don't bump into them as much. So we're going to put that electronics printer right there once we get these copper gone. So what else can we do? Well, we can get some of this stuff. Eventually, this is going to be a walkway. So I'm going to make this little room. And much like the solar panels, we don't want... I don't know what we can do. We can come up here and do this a little bit more, can't we? So eventually, we're going to put more solar panels out in this direction. I'm just going to put this like 90%, and that'll be the last adjustment for the day. So out this direction, we're going to put a greenhouse over probably by about where that flare is. So what I'll do, the reason I mentioned all that, is why don't we drag this out of the way, and somewhere up over here, we could put some of these organic supplies. Now, is our... Yes, our copper is done. So, how is our battery doing? Our battery's doing wonderfully. So wonderfully, in fact, I think I'm going to switch it with the one in my suit. So what I'll do, just to not run my suit out, is pick up one of these small ones, switch it into my suit, switch for a big one, switch the big one back into my suit, put the little one back in here. So now this guy will charge up whatever it's worth, even though we're going to run this guy. And hopefully, you know, I'd rather have the good battery in my suit, even if that cost us. But the first thing we need to make, in order to be able to make the circuitry, we need to get an electronics printer. And that's fairly costly, but we're only going to probably ever make one of them. So the most costly things are the things you need a lot of. Well, we might make one if we get real advanced, but... So that will actually take a little while, which is good to do while the sun's up. I don't know how much energy it takes. I don't know if different recipes take different amounts of energy, but the fact is that we're still charging that battery. And as a matter of fact, let's turn this off. And this, do we have? No, of course not. Say if we had another iron ore, I might throw it in there. Or do we just wait? We'd be patient. How's that sound? I'm probably going to break the episode, so why don't I put a little cut in it, and I will come back when I've made the components that we need to automate, and I'll also probably have, depending on the, no, I won't have smelted. I'll just make the components, but that'll give me a chance to break this into part 1 and part 2. How does that sound? All right, I will see you guys in a minute or two.